Hey everybody, and welcome back to Jim's Garage. This is a video I've been waiting for ages, ever since I bought my first 3 MS-01s running my cluster. It's the MS-A2. It's basically the bigger, beefier AMD version of the MS-01. So I'm here to review this and answer all the questions that you might have, such as, should I buy this or the MS-01? Does it have all of the same features? What's the performance like? Does it have thermal throttling? We'll get onto all of that stuff. But before we actually get into the review, I wanted to flip this on its head. I'm going to give you my conclusion up front, and then I'll show you all of the methodology and my reasoning behind it. So quite simply, should you buy the MS-A2 or the MS-01? Either way, it's a victory for MinisForum. They have this market covered. The simple answer is probably yes. It's more than double the speed of the MS-01, and you're only paying about £150 premium, judging by the pricing and availability on their website. However, it does come with some trade-offs that I think it's important that I discuss. So in terms of pros, like I say, there is nothing really in this form factor as fast as this device. I'll get onto the reviews of that later and show my benchmarks. The other benefit of this is the better upgraded cooling that this device has, I would argue is needed, but unfortunately it does thermal throttle, as I'll show later in the video. Now we get on to the cons versus the MS-01, and you'll have to determine how much of a deal breaker this is for you. Now, as somebody who likes to run this as an all-in-one device, i.e. things like iGPU pass-through, clustering, all of that sort of stuff, this is where some of the discrepancies might come to bite you. So first of all, the iGPU. This does come with an AMD iGPU, albeit it's not as powerful as the MS-01's iGPU. And typically AMD support is not as good as the Intel support. Next, we get on to the network connectivity. Now, both of these have 10 gig SFP plus ports, but the RJ45 ports do differ. On the MS-01, both of those are Intel NICs. On this A2, one of those is a Realtek NIC. Now, in the past, that has been a real problem, but it does seem as though support is better these days, especially when I installed Proxmox and it was recognized and I could use the device. There might be some edge cases, however, where just Realtek NICs aren't as well supported. Next up on the connectivity side is the lack of the Thunderbolt 4 ports. Now, for somebody like me who runs a ring network off the back of those Thunderbolt 4 ports with my MS-01 cluster, I would not be able to replicate that with the MS-A2, which for me is a bit of a deal breaker. There's also no possibility of using something like Mesh Commander to remotely manage this device, albeit that is in somewhat of a deprecated state, but it does still work. So remote management really is kind of off the table as well. So let's hop on over now and have a quick look at this device. We'll go over the ports, we'll have a look at some of the internals, discuss some of the upgrade options, etc., and then we'll run into some of the benchmarks. The device itself shares the same form factor as the MS-01 and MS-A2, with some USB ports on the front, as well as a couple on the back. But on the back is pretty much where all of the most interesting parts are. You've got dual SFP plus ports, dual RJ45 at 2.5 gig. You've then got the USB-C ports and the remainder of the USB Type A, as long as the barrel adapter. You've also got the exhaust and also the PCIe expansion slot, which will take a slim profile card. You can see that we've got the CPU cooler on the top, and you can see through into the internal components. And then on the back, we've got another cooler, which will be for the M.2 NVMe drives, of which all of those drives run at PCIe Gen 4 x 4. Now, to release the case is great on the MS-A2. It now incorporates the sliding mechanism from the MS-01, which is different to the older A1 model. You can see inside that this is pretty much just a metal sleeve that pulls off, and you can then get into the internals. Here you can see the heatsink that's been upgraded, part of that improved cooling solution, as well as the PCIe slot here, which is a x8 slot, but it's in a x16 form factor. That runs at PCIe Gen 4. Underneath you can also see the RAM, which is being actively cooled under the fan, and then on the reverse is where we get to the storage options. So the one you can see on screen here comes shipped with the device that I had. It has a heatsink incorporated, which is also actively cooled with the fan, but you can replace this with a U.2 drive, and that process is much improved from the previous generation of the MS-01. There's no need to risk breaking things by not pressing the switch. It actually has a header which you can then put the U.2 onto, get it powered through the header, and then stick that into the NVMe slot. Looking at the write performance, specifically the drive that was sent to me, this is the Crucial P3, which comes with the device if you don't get the bare bones option. It was a 1TB drive. It's not the fastest NVMe, but it is a decent budget option, especially running at PCIe 4x4. You can see the respective sequential speeds of 5000 on the read and about 4700 on the writes, but the important bits really are to the lower of the table, whereby that's typically the performance you're going to see when you're doing random reads and writes. Crucially, on the left hand side, you can see that the temperatures never exceeded more than 55 degrees centigrade during these intensive tests. That's great to see that the heatsink and the active cooling, the fan that I showed earlier, seems to be keeping this under control. If you have a more performant NVMe drive that you might want to add to this, that's obviously going to help to keep it within operational boundaries. Now on to where this device shines, the raw CPU power. Here we're using Cinebench R23, and as you can see we get a score on the multi-core of 30,959. We'll move on to single core in a moment. The key thing I want to show you here is if you look on the right hand side of the hardware monitor tab, you can see the dreaded red 100C, which means we've hit the thermal limit, therefore thermal throttling is applying. Now you've got to remember this is a super high-end CPU that is very power hungry, and there's only so much you can do with physics in a small package. And unfortunately here we did see the CPU downclock to reduce those temperatures to within operational limits. What that actually means becomes more apparent if we look at the single core clock speeds. Now here this is running the single core after we've done the multi-core. You can see on the right hand side we have a core clock speed on core number 3 of 5437.2 megahertz. Now that is very close to the maximum I observed, which you can see in the far column, which was 5446.4-ish. And whilst that wasn't thermal throttling the whole CPU, those were the core clock speeds I was getting across all cores. As soon as that thermal limit came in, it was dropping down to about 4500 megahertz, which is a significant downgrade, albeit it's still going to be punchy for a home lab server, and it's very unlikely that you're ever going to be running things like synthetic benchmarks as I've done here. Does this mean that the MS-A2 is a failed design? In my opinion, no. But just note that if you are looking for absolute maximum headroom, you can't have your cake and eat it. If you want a small form factor PC server, you're not going to be able to have that thermal headroom. The cooling just isn't possible. But as I say, I think you're going to get more than enough power running this with normal workloads. And as you can see from the graphs, this thing is miles ahead of the competition, and specifically things like the MS-01. Now during my testing, I did install Proxmox onto here. I did have a play around with it, and it behaved as expected, albeit it was really fast thanks to that awesome CPU in there. All of the NICs were detected and all of the drives were detected as well. The key thing here is I checked out the IOMMU Groups, and as you can see from this column here, it's good news, so awesome work on that. We can see that basically all of the NICs, you can see those here, those are all on separate IOMMU groups, which means that we should be able to pass those through to any virtual machine that we wish. We've also got things like the wireless adapter if you wanted to pass that through, and we've also got things like the actual high definition audio controller as well as the iGPU as well, which we should be able to pass through. I'm going to do some more experimentation within Proxmox and I'll be putting some posts up around my findings, but I've no reason to believe this won't be perfectly fine. So I'm going to wrap up my review here of the MS-A2. Overall, I'm really impressed. If you want a small form factor, extremely powerful CPU and good network connectivity, as well as the expansion slot and 3 full-speed NVMe PCIe Gen 4 drives, there's probably nothing else on the market to consider. This thing is an absolute rocket. However, there are some things that might make you want to look at some of the other products, specifically the MS-01 as I detailed earlier. Determining which device is right for you, you're going to have to work that one out. If you're struggling to decide, I would probably err on the side of getting the MS-A2. It is more powerful for only a small uplift, and from everything I can tell, all of the devices and peripherals did work with modern operating systems. So let me know in the comments what you think about this device. Is this something that you're going to be going for? Have you been waiting for this a long time? And hopefully has my review swayed you to make that purchase? If it has, head down to the description below. I'll put some affiliate links, but obviously buy it through the manufacturer's website and support them if it's cheaper. As always, thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.